In January of 2015, the Indianapolis Colts advanced to the AFC Championship game. They played the New England Patriots. The Super Bowl was on the line. And yeah, I guess that giant L was something worth celebrating. So when the next season kicked off, the Colts hung this banner in their rafters. Really? As you might expect, they got dragged.
I think it's a fraudulent banner. I'll speak from the heart on that. They were finalists, but is that anything to write home about?
But the Colts may have not even won the title of dumbest banner ever. And all those are coming up right after this. Guess what a lot of us do every July? Have false hope headed into the NFL season? Yes, that, and also drink coffee. And let me tell you about the best coffee out there, mine, Benchwarmer Brew. Unlike your team's starting QB, the 5 Points blend will deliver you consistent flavor and fantastic taste. It's a light roast, so that means more caffeine. Oh, and the beans are ethically sourced. Stop overpaying for some giant coffee cartel to take your money. So after this video, you can go to benchwarmerbrew.com from the link below and use my code DAMNSON from July 18th to July 21st and get 15% off the 5 Points blend. This applies to all new subscriptions and one-time purchases, and there is no minimum purchase requirement. Again, just like Daniel Jones this year, give Benchwarmer Brew a shot. Again, use the code DAMNSON from the link below and get 15% off for a limited time only. 2002-2003 Washington Mystics. There's an old joke asking whether a person would rather see their local WNBA team win a title or find $5 on the ground. Apparently 20 years ago, residents of the DMV were more inclined toward the first option. In the early 2000s, the Washington Mystics of the WNBA stacked back-to-back titles. Not league titles, mind you. They actually recorded the best attendance and decided, hey, let's celebrate that with a pair of custom-stitched banners. Most of people showing up was likely due to their NBA team changing their name and the confusion therein, but you can't argue with the sheer numbers. The Mystics drew over 16,000 fans per game in 2002, followed by 14,000 the year after, and still didn't turn a profit. That's actually pretty darn good for the WNBA, a sport that currently draws around 4,000 spectators per game. Unfortunately for the Mystics, that home court advantage didn't equal success. The team posted a record of just 26-40 over those two banner-raising seasons. They did finally win a championship in 2020. 2009 New England Patriots. We all know the story. Back in 2007, the New England Patriots were the most dominant team of the 21st century, maybe the greatest regular season team in NFL history. Those 07 Pats posted a point differential of plus 315, Brady threw 50 touchdown passes, and Randy Moss caught 23 of them. In their post-Spygate revenge tour, they didn't just beat teams, they beat the fuck out of them. But in the last few weeks of the regular season, they stopped manhandling their opponents. Teams like the Giants hung around and gained confidence that they could compete with this mythical superpower. And when the Giants got a second chance to battle the 18-0 Pats, they didn't miss. The image of Rodney Harrison posted up by David Tyree is not a point of pride for Pats fans, it's nightmare fuel. And most fans would prefer not to be reminded of it every time they enter their home stadium. Except that's what the Patriots decided to do when they dropped a banner commemorating the 16-0 regular season at Gillette Stadium. Yes, alongside their Super Bowl winning banners is the commemoration to losing to a goofball and a sticky helmet, a practical joke against their own fans. Personally, I say, keep the banner up. Tampa Bay Rays 2011 and 2013. When you share a division with the Yankees and Red Sox, teams with serious resources, you have to take your postseason appearances however you can. But that doesn't mean you get to celebrate them all. Look, the Tampa Bay Rays are one of the great underdog stories in recent MLB history. They've pioneered the new era of Moneyball, turning their extremely low budget into a tactical spur that's accelerated new ways of thinking, and also somehow getting fans to trek to St. Petersburg to watch baseball in a warehouse. Their efforts ultimately took them to the brink of a World Series title in 2020, but their Game 6 decision to give Blake Snell an early hook cost them against the Dodgers. A noteworthy accomplishment. However, when it comes to banners in Tampa, though, they celebrate some pretty mediocre feats. Back in 2011 and 2013, the Rays snuck into the playoffs as a wild card team winning 91 and 92 games respectively. The 2011 pennant race was legitimately thrilling. In game 162 against the Yankees, third baseman Evan Longoria drilled a low-line drive that just reached the seats to send Tampa to the playoffs. In 2013, the Rays earned their spot in the ALDS by winning the wildcard game against Cleveland, 1-0 in a nail-biter. But of course, when they were pitted against the Red Sox, they got the crap beat out of them. The team dusted themselves off and scrapped to get further, but not before raising 2 participation trophy banners commemorating what essentially is being the number 5 seed in the playoffs. You can certainly argue that the Rays didn't have a history of success to fall back on, but they had at least already reached the World Series in 2008, a feat that's, worth a banner. Although, knowing Tropicana Field, those are probably load-bearing banners.
The lineup for the second time. There's a blast. Ozuna does it again. He turns this one.
Atlanta Falcons 2017. Oh no, Falcons, what is you doing? Not this. If I were a high-level decision maker with the Atlanta Falcons organization, I would have washed my hands of everything even remotely related to Super Bowl 51. The fans certainly have. Seriously, I would ban all players from wearing the numbers 51, 28, or 3. I might even consider changing the team's name, kind of like how Facebook changed their name to Meta to run from their shady past. Instead, the Falcons bizarrely decided to lean into their embarrassment. When their new stadium opened in the summer of 2017, the team hung a banner commemorating Super Bowl 51. Not the final score or anything, that would be a little too masochistic, but also hilarious. No, they hung a banner commemorating defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, who tied a Super Bowl record with 3 sacks in that game. That's all well and good, but you guys realize you didn't win that game, right? Jarrett was a monster for most of the contest, emphasis on most. If the Falcons had hung on, he would have had a case for Super Bowl MVP along with Matty Ice. But those sacks came when the Falcons were up by at least 19 points. When the game was truly on the line late in the fourth quarter and overtime, Jarrett disappeared like the pictures of our president's son on Twitter. And now for our dumbest championship banner. There's something to be said about the other banners on this list, as embarrassing as they are. The things they're commemorating actually happened. In the case of UCF, they took something they thought should have happened and celebrated it via one of the most delusional banners of all time. In 2017, the University of Central Florida finished with a 13-0 record, but never climbed higher than 6th in the AP poll. There was actually some real NFL talent on that team like Shaquem Griffin, Traquan Smith, Jordan Akins, and Mike Hughes. They also decimated some teams in the American Athletic Conference and thoroughly handled Maryland, who barely qualifies as a Big Ten school. In the Peach Bowl, the Golden Knights were given a real shot against an SEC power. Number 7 ranked Auburn, and UCF showed up, winning 34-27 against the big boys of college football. In their minds, that was proof that UCF should have been included in the college football playoff, and that's a reasonable point to make. You could certainly argue that they should have finished in the top 4. After all, UCF was the only FBS team to finish undefeated, something Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Clemson couldn't say. But does that make them champions by default? UCF not only hung a banner, but they held a parade and sold national championship merchandise. It's a marketing ploy for sure, but it's also a fucking lie. In 2018, UCF finished the regular season undefeated once again, except this time they fell 40-32 in the Fiesta Bowl to LSU. Some guy named Joe Burrow threw 4 touchdowns. So they made it close, but we also got a taste last year of what happens when an undefeated AAC team gets to play a top SEC powerhouse in the college football playoffs. It's not a disaster, but it's evidence that these conferences just aren't on the same level. UCF can hang a banner for going undefeated, and they can complain about not getting a shot, but national champions, they are not.